Hello, welcome to Peach Ties. This is Morgan Harrell. Happy New Year and happy Black History Month. I am so honored to introduce our next guest. He is a writer, filmmaker, and now an award-winning director from the American Black Film Festival for his film, The Waterboyz. The Waterboyz is a coming-to-age film that's inspirational that follows different boys from the city of Atlanta trying to make a better life by selling waters in the street. I'm so excited to have a conversation about how he has made one of the best films of really about community and also inspiring to be your own boss. Welcome to my guest, Coke Daniels. Hello there.
Hello. How you doing? That was a great introduction. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling blessed. It's nice and rainy outside. You know, it was 20 degrees last week. Now it's 70. You know, like they say, if you don't like the weather in Atlanta, wait, it'll change. So, it's a beautiful day. I'm here.
Absolutely. And since like the rain with the water. So with this film, I watched it a few times and I really enjoy your work, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how did this idea formulate in your mind? Were you driving the street one day and did you see some boys selling water? How did it come about?
Well, I moved here from LA. And originally when I came out, I started seeing the Waterboyz on the corner by the freeways, you know, in the summer selling the water. And I just was like, it took a few times. It's not the first time I seen it was I aspired to write a film, but I just was, became intrigued because I'm like, kids in LA would never stand on the corner and sell dollar bottles of water. But, upon a deeper dive, I found out that kids are really entrepreneurial and making a lot of money out there, sometimes hundreds of dollars a day. So I just dug deep into it, talked to some actual Waterboyz here locally. Did a lot of research on the internet, looking at whatever was available on the internet with, news reports and things of that nature, and thought it would be a great framework to tell a coming of age story, much like Menace and Boys in the Hood and films like this. I felt like Atlanta really didn't have that. So, that was my inspiration. And I wanted to tell a story about just youth empowerment and lack of opportunities and gun violence and, the choices, and the forks in the road that youth are faced with. So I wanted to wrap all that up in a bundle centered around Waterboyz.
Amazing. So it starts with the point of view through the protagonist of Drew, which is played by Mr. McDowell that you casted. So of course, with your casting process, did you purposely wanted to have people of different dialect and accents? And what was the coming about of your casting process?
Well, with Akili in particular, I've seen him on the Oprah show, David Makes Man. And obviously that was pedigree because it was Oprah, it was Michael B. Jordan, it was, I can't never remember the guy's name, but the brother that wrote Moonlight.
Yes.
So it was an amazing show. I seen him on there. I loved his look. We had he didn't actually audition. We just had a general phone call. And, I thought he understood the character, could translate it. Because I wrote Drew to be a kid in the hood that's kind of awkward. I didn't want all the kids to be the same in the film. Obviously we have Dolo with the heavy dialect and he's from Decatur, Decatur Alligator. So, but he represented the South to the fullest with that. Akili's actually from Houston. So although he doesn't talk, because not everybody in the South talks that way. Absolutely. And I wanted to make sure that we got that point across as well, that not everybody talks the same way, just like not everybody in LA talks the same way. So I wanted to have a different person with the kids that somebody in the audience could relate to one of them. Maybe you didn't relate to all of them. Maybe it was Dolo. Maybe it was T, the young lady. Maybe it was, Akili's character, Drew. Maybe it was Lala. If you're a mother and you've got a young son and you see him coming up against these obstacles. So I didn't want to make any of the two characters the same. Much like, again, I'm a student of the game. So I looked at Boys in the Hood. I looked at Menace. Obviously, I've watched these films forever and I've seen how all the different characters painted all these different colors of the rainbow. So, yeah, that wasn't my intent to, and I had some people initially, some of the producers even was like, or not producers. Yeah, some of the producers was like, well, how come Akili doesn't sound more country and this and that? I'm like, because not everybody talks like that. I've got a lot of friends in Atlanta and some of them talk super country and some of them don't. You know what I mean? Not everybody's the same. So I definitely wanted to reflect that in the storytelling.
You did really very good job with that. And Lala Anthony playing the mother of Drew, being a mother of trying to raise his son away from any type of trouble. You see that he's trying to make a positive impact in the honest living. And it's very hard for him because he tried to get a job at Walmart, but it was paying him like $7 an hour.
Wage, yeah. 50, like he broke it down. He's like, part-time, I'm making $150 a week. Kids make $150 an hour selling water. So that's an easy decision to make. And even though it's dangerous and treacherous, but, it's hard to convince the kids, that are out there selling water to go just get a regular job, because a lot of them are supporting family. A lot of them are trying to go to college. A lot of them are trying to start businesses. And it's just hard to do that and no knocking on anybody that does work minimum wage, because you could work your way up from anywhere. But it's just hard talking to a kid in his late teens or early 20s and explain to him why he should go get a regular job.
Interesting. So with the antagonist Quavo, how was it directing him as an antagonist to the film? Because you're showing a point of view through the both sides that people don't really talk about, which I really love. So explain about that process.
It was, it was cheating. It was the cheat code casting Quavo, because Quavo is very familiar with Atlanta and the streets, obviously, and a lot of the people he grew up with and those type of characters like Lil Zoo, even though he's not one of them himself. He grew up around that element, so he absolutely understood the character. I don't recall even having to give him too much direction. He, pretty much got it, other than showing him where his marks were and explaining to him what's going on in the scene and things like that. He knew his lines. He ad-libbed some and added some extra spice to some of it. But it was a cheat code casting Quavo. Again, like, we talked about earlier, it was like, Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood when he played Doughboy. Like, Ice Cube knew a million Doughboys growing up, and just like Quavo, he probably knows a lot of Little Zoos.
Wow. So you already had this film, you wrote it, you directed, and you pretty put your heart and soul in it, and you got into the American Black Film Festival.
Yes.
Like, were you surprised? And then when they called your name for Best Director, like, what was your reaction that day?
I was seriously surprised. I mean, I'm a very confident person, and I felt like we delivered a great film. And Jeff Friday and Nicole Friday are always been advocates of mine. We had a film called His, Hers, and the Truth that was in there in 2019. And since then, we've circled around a couple projects that we were going to try to work on together. So the really dope part about this past year was Jeff and Nicole kind of stepped back and let Issa Rae and her team determine the films that were chosen as well as the winners. So it was outside of just, them. They did something a little different. So it was really an honor to think that, to get accepted, knowing that it was Issa Rae and her camp that accepted the film. And then also her same camp and other, insiders in the industry that, gave me the award, especially Best Director, because I started off as just a writer, and I really started directing just to protect my scripts. My first film was a film called My Baby's Daddy. And they brought in other directors and other writers, and I hated it. And so, talking to some of the executives from Miramax, they were like, well, look, go scrape up some money, shoot some films with your friends, come back, and we'll give you a budget to do a film. So that's kind of the mandate I've been on since then. And it was an honor, because early in my career, a lot of people wouldn't want me. They would want to buy my scripts, but wouldn't want me to direct. And I wouldn't sell them the scripts. So it put me on hunger strike. It was a long, bumpy road, but I was like, I'm not trying to be a work for hire writer. I'm a filmmaker. And I had to learn films to make films by making films. Like, I had to progress and be a student of the game and learn from my mistakes, and with every film try to level up. And to be, pointed out as like Best Director out of a lot of other amazing directors that were there in films was, my some of my team was sitting next to me. They'll tell you, I was shocked. It wasn't one of the moments where you see somebody like, yeah, I did that. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was great though, man. I'm still excited when I think about it. Like, it was amazing.
That's beautiful.
It's the biggest, best Black film festival in the world. And like I said, Issa Rae and everybody curating it this year was like, the cherry on the top.
Absolutely. Because it's like the Black Oscars.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. When I won Best Director at WIFTA, I was surprised as well, because when you put your authentic self into a film, whatever comes out for the outcome, it happens on God's timing.
That's right.
So when they called my name for Sable, I was really, really shocked, because when you make something from your own brand, it feels really good. Yeah. So I'm very happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So I know with, like, of course, younger as a kid, you see different films that just inspire you as a filmmaker. What are your favorite TV shows growing up and movies that makes you like, you know what, I could see that with a camera?
I've always been a big movie buff. I did music before I did films, but I've always loved films, and grew up. I'm a gentleman of a certain age, so definitely Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Jaws and The Godfather, and these are films when I was a child. My mom she'd want to go. She was a young mother, so she'd want to see these films, so she would take me with her, and so I kind of fell in love with cinema through that. And then as I got older, obviously Spike Lee was a huge influence. John Singleton, TV show, The Cosbys, the Different World, Martin, Will Smith. I mean, The Fresh Prince, all them kind of shows definitely helping, because I started off doing comedy. So a lot of that informed, my comedic sense, let me say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I studied the greats too. Hitchcock, Scorsese, Goodfellas, Casino. Those are all some of my favorite films. Wes Anderson, with what's my favorite? The Coen brothers is them too. The Big Lebowski, but Wes Anderson, A Life Aquatic with Bill Murray. It's one of my favorite films. So I just study filmmakers, like great filmmakers that really know how to tell the stories from a visual perspective. Visual storytelling is very important. I'm a writer first and foremost, but then you got to learn to translate that with the camera and tell the story with the camera in terms of lighting and camera moves and different things like that help enhance the story and draw the audience in. So it's been a long, tedious process. I didn't have the luxury of going to film school. So I just learned by studying the greats.
Amazing. Now, pretend like if you're in the director chair right now and you just have an unlimited budget, right? And you want to direct your dream movie and you want to cast an A-list actor and an A-list actress. What would those two be and what would be the name of the film?
One of my dreams has always been to do something on ancient Egypt with all Black characters, because we know there's a big debate. I know a lot of Egyptians now are saying, these characters weren't Black, but I would love to tell that story with us in front of the camera and behind the camera. And obviously Denzel, anybody says they don't want to work with Denzel, female actors, Angela Bassett. There's a lot of young up and coming greats too, but obviously those are the top of the food chain, especially for my generation. But
nice.
There's a ton of amazing Black actors and actresses that I would love to work with, but definitely something Black Egyptian would be great. It's going to happen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Ramesses in particular is a Egyptian king, one of the last great Egyptian kings that I would love to tell his story.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds amazing. Let me see. If I could pick a actress and an actor, for the actor, it's going to be Aaron Pierre.
Of course. So you got a thing for light-skinned dudes. I get it. Nah, he's amazing. I was talking to somebody earlier, like so many of these actors I've had in sales decks from old films that I was going to do that haven't come to fruition. But Aaron Pierre is somebody I've had my eye on for a while as well. Like, he's amazing. He's a really dope actor.
Okay. And then for actress, Ryan Destiny. She's gorgeous. She's dope. So gorgeous. And I love her in Star. I was hurt when he took it off air. Yeah. I was devastated. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So we got the vibe of like who we want in our films. So now it's 2025. A new year. It is. It started off the chain.
Started off rough. I'm waiting for a new. I just want a new month. I'm not even waiting on a new year. Let's just have a February. New month. Yeah. Happy New Month Eve.
And now you see with, of course, the game has changed with streaming platforms. Yes. You got Tubi, YouTube, and TikTok. That was like recently banned for 24 hours is now back and running from the new president. So what can you tell with filmmakers that wants to be independent filmmakers? What can you tell them about how they can take advantage of the streaming platforms since we have so many of them now?
I would say just start small. You know, a lot of people want to start at the top. I was one of them included, where my first film, Baby's Daddy, was a $10 million studio film. And in order to, fulfill my dreams of also directing, I had to step back and start doing films well under $1 million, a few 100,000. But even then, I've seen films done on iPhones with 20, 30,000, 10,000 less. So just use the tools at your disposal, to create, be creative. When you don't have resources, you get resourceful. So start small, gather your team of creatives together. Have a team. For sure, you need a team. You can't do it by yourself. Find some of your fellow friends that want to act or produce or do hair and makeup or get, look around who owns a barbershop, who owns a restaurant, who owns, some nice cars. Like, let me borrow your car for a day to shoot this scene. And you got to go do it. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Absolutely.
So you got to do it. You got to just start.
Just start.
That's more important, is just start. Don't wait. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait for a perfect scenario or the perfect storm, because it'll never come. You just got to start.
That is so true. People, they keep waiting and just going to keep waiting their whole life. You cannot wait on anybody. You can't depend on people. Start from your own source. And you mentioned how having a team is so important in your corner.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with your faith. So what does faith mean to you? And were there times in your life that you decided that it was like difficult, but you overcame it though?
Yeah. Yesterday was difficult. Every day is difficult when you're a creative and especially an independent filmmaker. Like I have to create my own opportunities. I don't, even though I've done 10 films, I'm well known and respected in the industry. I just still don't believe in going to ask for permission, to create, because, I know people that do that and your films could sit in development for years. Major actors, major filmmakers have films in development at studios that never happen because they have to still go ask for permission and wait for a green light and things like that. So it's always a struggle, man. It's always like, and even when it's like Waterboyz, every film I do, you reach the mountaintop, you're like, yes, I did it. And then next thing you know, you're right down at the down at the bottom of the mountain. You have to start all over again. And that's where I'm at now with my next projects. Like you start from scratch, a script, a sales deck, asking actors they want to be involved, finding money. But I prefer it that way, to be honest with you, because at least I'm being proactive. Because it just, especially now, like after these 2 strikes and COVID, like Hollywood it's not crumbling, but it's reshaping. And especially for people of color, they're not greenlighting a lot of our projects. They already weren't greenlighting a lot of projects. But believe me, when they start saying we're going to cut costs and cut productions and this and that, we're going to be first. Just because they don't understand us anyway. And when they go outside the box and gamble on projects with us that don't perform, people lose their jobs. So it's a rough climate, but you got to definitely, and to young filmmakers, another thing I'll say is be a student of the game. Understand the business of making films. Because a lot of times there are filmmakers like, oh, I'm going to do this female gangster movie and Netflix is going to buy it. Like, do you even know what Netflix is buying right now or if they're buying? It's a thing. But like you said, with the things you named earlier, like Tubi and YouTube, and I mean, you could shoot your own film and put it on YouTube. And if it's unique enough, maybe it'll stand out and go viral, or shoot, short films for TikTok. Like, young filmmakers and creators have so many platforms now to launch from. So it should be inspirational. You can't have I've done 10 films and I've worked with pretty much every major studio in the business, but I still have to go and hustle up opportunities. So if you're starting from scratch, you really have to get creative,
Those are amazing words.
Yeah. Very
great advice. Wow. And two, I just want to say, like, with your film, the ending has really, it broke my heart because I'm not going to spoil the movie. Go see it. But I like how you really were able to articulate people coming together, trying to make a positive impact and making an honest living, because there are a lot of people right now in the economy, especially with the state of this country right now, who's really, really putting a lot of their hard work, and they may not see any type of progress. And I see with the film throughout the different intervals, you see the adversity that of course the characters were facing, and they were able to see the light in the tunnel. And that's what I really love about it. It's all about community. And what I love about community is just having a good cell phone service provider. And what I love is Cricket Wireless. I have Cricket Wireless. I have been using it for multiple years. And if you ever want to have a cell phone service that has a team in the back corner, good service, good coverage, and basically affordable, go to Cricket Wireless today and tell them that Morgan sent you. Did you have a good time today, Coke?
I did. I had an amazing time.
Oh, yay. I'm so happy. And of course, here we have the water for you to take home.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Lovely waters. And of course, peaches are not in season at the moment, but we have some fruit for you to take home.
Yes. Oh,
and I have another surprise for you. A lovely bag.
Oh, nice.
Full of goodies.
I love goodies.
Yay.
Nice. Oh, snacks and waters and soda pops.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Wow, you guys, that's all the time we have today. You can watch The Waterboyz on multiple platforms, including Apple TV and YouTube. And also, too, we're going to see some more from Coke Daniels. And he's amazing. Congratulations again. And yes, remember, you guys, be kind, be sweet, and it's always good to be a Georgia peach. Bye-bye.